You remember this shot from earlier in the show. It's Mount Rainier from the campus of the University of Washington. Well, one Saturday morning I decided to get on my motorcycle and drive up there. It certainly doesn't look far away, does it? But looks so deceiving. Mount Rainier is over 50 miles from Seattle. So after a tortuous drive through mountain roads, I finally arrived. The mountain and surrounding area comprise Mount Rainier National Park, and the scenery here is breathtaking. This mountain is an active volcano encased in over 35 square miles of snow and ice, surrounded by subarctic forests and stunning wildflower meadows, with many species of wild animals, from a healthy deer population to mountain lions. Just look at the beauty of this magnificent mountain. And over there, the scenery is just breathtaking. I'm very impressed at what the great Northwest has to offer. The last major eruption of Rainier was in 1854. Since the mountain is covered by snow and glaciers, the biggest threat to volcanic activity would be mudslides. The geothermal heat has caused the formation of many ice caves in the mountain's crater. Fear is that a severe mudslide could run into Puget Sound and reach Tacoma or even Seattle. Come with me as I motorcycle out to Mount St. Helens. It was on the morning of May 18, 1980, that Mount St. Helens devastated this whole area in a volcanic blast. If you are old enough, you probably remember the event. So let's stop here for a while to see what remains today.
Well, to start off with, my name is Sean Smith, and I want to welcome you here to the Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. I appreciate the fact that you've taken a few minutes to get out of your car and come talk to me, because the way I look at it, our tax dollars pay for more than just the road. You pay for all of this, so you might as well get out of your car and see as much as you can. Well, here at the edge, what I like to talk about is that there are three edges that we're looking at here. First one is the edge of the blast zone. The next one is the edge of the monument. And then the third one is the edge of discovery, what we like to say here in the Forest Service. So to start with, we need to go back to the initial phases of the eruption. March 17th, there was a 4.1 earthquake here at Mount St. Helens, and what was happening is molten rock was starting to work its way into the heart of Mount St. Helens, shaking the mountain a little bit as that molten rock moves in. Well, March 27th, we had an eruption at the top of Mount St. Helens, first one in about 123 years, so people were really getting excited. May 18th comes along, and that north slope that I was talking about, through those subsequent molten rock moving in, the north slope from here on March 17th to here's where it was on May 18th had grown by over 500 feet. with that molten rock pushing in and moving the North Slope out. Okay, May 18th comes around, 8:32 in the morning, we have a 5.1 earthquake, and because that North Slope is basically sticking out there so far, it just fell off. And part of it came crashing down, ended up in Spirit Lake, created a tidal wave that went to the other end of the lake, splashed out about 600 feet, and pulled all these trees back into Spirit Lake. And if you've been up there or you're going up there, there's a place you can stop called Donnybrook, and you'll see about a third of the lake still covered in those logs from May 18th.
Yes, we did.
Well, as that North Slope fell off, it's kind of like taking a champagne bottle that's been shaken up and taking the top off. The mountain erupted then, laterally across the ground, starting at around 200 miles an hour, and then accelerating to over 600 miles an hour, propelling all of these little white rocks, which I don't have any right here, all of these ones around in here, that's called pumice, and those rocks were moving at about 200 to 600 miles an hour. Average temperature in here about 400 degrees. Okay? Wow. So as the blast came out, it hugged the mountain slopes and was pushed down, and that's why we see these trees knocked down here. Mm-hmm. But as we get out here, the blast started to lose its steam. And that's why we can look up here on this hill slope, on this slope here, and see that on the left side, the trees were killed because the blast still had enough heat in it. It was about 400 degrees to singe the needles off, but it didn't have enough impact to knock the trees down. On the right side, those trees survived. I don't know why that was this exact point where it decided to end, but that's basically the line between life and death on the edge of the blast here.